And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Escape the Dark Castle, a game of atmospheric adventure. This is a game that can be played solo through, I think, 4 players, and each of you is taking a character going through a dungeon. But it's more like a multiple choose-your-own-adventure style book, as you're going to turn over pages or cards from this deck of cards and see what happens to you. Now, I tend to like choose-your-own-adventure, and I was able to try this one out not only with others, but as a solo game to see how it went through. Let's take a look at how it plays. There's a pile of cards here that are going to show various things that happen to you in the castle. So you're going to shuffle this pile of cards, and you're going to be taking 15 of these cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's the castle. There's 3 big giant monsters, so you'll pick one of those. That's the boss monster that's at the very end. And then you're going to put this card on top to show that this is the castle that you're going to be going through this round. Each player is going to be picking a character. So be a cook, a miller, a smith, a tailor, a tanner, an abbot, and so on. Now, what these are doing here is these are going to be your characters, and this shows how good they are at various stats that are in the game. The eyeball stands for cunning, the asterisk stands for wisdom, and the fist stands for might. And this shows what they have on their die. You're going to take a specific die, and so you can see, for example, here is the Smith die, and the Smith die has a fist on one side. It has on 2 sides, it also has an asterisk, a double asterisk here with a shield, a defensive thing around it, a double fist, and then only 1 eyeball, so they're not so good at cunning. So you're going to get that die, and then everyone's going to also be writing down how many hit points you have on a little piece of paper. That's going to be determined by the number of players in the game. So then, as a group, you're going to determine who's going to turn over each card. So the first card just, tells you, hey, okay, this is the story, you're in a castle. Then you turn over a card. All right, great. So here, without warning, a swarm of giant bats bursts into the passageway. You can only cower beneath the overwhelming blur of wing and fang. As the bat swarm pass, each player in turn must roll their character dice along with 3 chapter dice. So I'm the tailor, the chapter dice are the black ones, so I roll these, okay? And that's what I've rolled. I've rolled 2 eyeballs, an asterisk, and a fist. It says after rolling, a player loses 1 hit point for each chapter die that matches their character die. If you roll a double or no matches, you're unharmed by the bats. So I rolled an asterisk, nothing happens, so I'm unharmed by the bats, yay! And then maybe the next player, he rolls, okay, also he's fine too. And then the next player rolls, also fine, nothing matters. Okay, great. So we go to the next one. The next one here is a nobleman walking around. He offers a reward, and then you can help him, which gives you an item card, or you can attack him, which is a combat. Now, when you fight a combat, the bad guy, you have to roll this many symbols to block to hit someone. So this guy says you need to roll an eyeball to take him out, and you're also going to roll a chapter die for each player. So let's say there's 3 players, so I roll them. So these are plus, you have 1 eyeball plus these 3 symbols that you players need to take out. So players are going to be rolling their chapter dice. They're going to have to match these dice to take them out. If they don't, they're going to take hits from the person. And the number of hits they take are down here. So this guy will hit you for 1 damage. He's not too powerful. Unless, of course, you have rolled a block in which you can stop one of the hits that the bad guy will do to you. And then you keep going till you get rid of him. And so that's pretty much what's in this game. Now, if you want to play the game, I don't want to spoil all the different things that you will find. There's all sorts of things. Many of them just something happens to you, but many of them there's fierce fights that might occur. And then eventually you're going to get to the bottom big bad boss, who, as you can see, has a whole lot of dice and will do a lot more damage, and you need to beat them, and if you do so, you win the game. Okay, so there are these item cards that come with the game, and you can see, you can discard these. You got to add a hit point to your character. Discard to give a hit point to all character. These are simple ones. They'll tell you how many, you can have like 2 items in your hand, and so you're going to be drawing these. Now you'll notice that these items are really boring. Sometimes they're interesting, a russet foil, but for the most part they're pretty boring items. And also, this is obviously going to be something that's I guess, per person, but I really hate the art in this game. Not the fact that it's black and white, but the fact that it's black and white and looks like it's from a kid's notebook that they were doodling on in class. And it's not just that artwork, but I think the artwork across the board is just, it really looks amateurish. I suppose some people say, oh wow, it's a throwback to older times. Not me. Besides, who wants to go back to these older times? This artwork itself, I highly dislike it. The cards themselves are all black on the back. Okay, fine. I don't really care that they're black on the back. It seems like a waste of ink, but whatever. There's like no name here. They're okay. The dice they're okay dice, right? I mean, they're printed well enough, right? But the game is constantly saying might, and you're like, oh wait, which one's might? Now might's not too hard to figure out because of this, but the asterisk, I'm still not sure why an asterisk is used to represent wisdom. It just seems like it represents an asterisk. Anyway, they're okay, the dice, and the symbols and all that stuff works fine. And the game also comes with some pencils, and everything fits nice and neatly in a box. But for me, the whole black and white motif mixed with the artwork, which I consider to be bad, just gives the game a really crummy look. Well, folks, I hate this game. I mean, I hate it. Now, part of that is the motif of the game, the whole aesthetics of it. I really dislike those. And I don't know what it is. Again, maybe I'm just alone on this one because I went and looked at the comments on the Board Game Geek page for this and on the Kickstarter, and people said, this artwork, I love it. It reminds me of back in when I was a kid. Yeah, I remember lots of things back when I was a kid that were cool when I was a kid. They're not cool now. But I get it. I guess I'm in the minority on this one, but I despise this game. It just looks boring. It looks dreadful. It looks bad. It looks, again, like I said, like some kids doodling, and you're like, oh, you're not so bad at drawing pictures. Let's do them for this. But even this, I mean, do you want to be one of these people? No. They all look grotesque and nasty and blah. I just don't like that. But taking that out of the case, the game itself, there's no game. You literally turn over a card, you might make a decision, usually you don't, like you saw the bat, so you just rolled, and see what happens. That's it. You get to a bad guy, you're like, let's fight him. Let's roll dice and see if I match. I did not match. Okay, let's keep rolling till I do match or till we die. You will die in this game a lot. This reminds me of the old Games Workshop games like Chainsaw Warrior and such, where you just kind of played them to see what happens. That's what this game is. You are literally just going, and maybe you'll be like, ooh, but the story, well, it's disconnected first. The cards don't have anything to do with each other. You're going to go through the same 15 cards. It's not like you can fight this hard guy or you can go around this corner and do this. No, there's no decisions. This isn't role-playing. This is a game that should have come out in the 80s. Coming out in 2017/18, that's just not good enough. It doesn't make the cut at this point. You look at this game, you're like, no. This is a game that maybe when I was 10, I might have been like, but even then I would have got bored because you would have seen the same cards over and over again. And there's no warning, there's nothing. You just flip a card. Everyone gets smacked. Flip a card. Good things happen. Flip a card. It's a monster that you may or may not have the skills to fight, by the way. The solo game of this is extremely unfun. I finally gave up and went through with 2 characters and picked ones with different stats, because if you pick a character who's not really good at, let's say, a wisdom or whatever, and then you come across something where you need wisdom, you're dead. You literally can't go through the game like that. So I had to use multiple characters, and then it just wasn't very fun anyway. I was like, and I'm taking hit points here. I don't feel any sense of adventure. I don't feel any sense of anything. This is one of my least favorite games I've played in a long time. I tried, right? I was like, okay, maybe I'm missing something. Let's go through again. Ooh, I should use the item cards more often. But the item cards are like, get a hit point. Oh, okay. I have a hit point. Now go in the next room and let the monster slap you for 3. No sense of danger, no sense of foreboding, just a sense of, another bad drawing, another boring event. I'm sorry, I know that there's a lot of people out there, I see I'm a minority on this one, liking how it looks and how it plays, but I think a lot of the people who have rated it are people who are tend to drawn to this. I think the vast majority of people who watch Dice Tower reviews and other things, I don't think this would be your style, because it just looks, and it plays, and I can't recommend a game. Sorry, I don't think you should get this one. Dice Tower judgment?
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool Stuff in stock. Check them out at coolstuffinc.com.
Shut the door!